Hi everyone. We are a small studio, an architectural practice working in South London for the last 10 years. Helena is the director and founder of a small studio and specializes in the British planning system. I am Calliope and I love designing and contract administrating, and Iria is our material specialist and design historian. We are currently based in Park Hall Business Centre in West Norwood, but we always wanted to be closer to the public and not work in a silo. So we recently bought an empty shop on Norwood High Street with dreams and hopes of repurposing it into a flexible and affordable co-working space for the community. However, planning was a real challenge, and that got us thinking, if architects experienced in planning can't turn the shop into something viable, how can anyone else on the empty high street? So we began collaborating with the Norwood Planning Association to work on the neighborhood plan, and partnered up with Station to Station to launch a month-long digital consultation on the power of the high street through LFA, the London Festival of Architecture. And we hope to get a series of proposals to redefine the role of the high street today based on the needs and wants of the community. And our shop is the perfect pilot project that illustrates how hard it is to actually reinvent high street spaces. It's expensive, it goes against the local plan, the properties hard to get access to, and so on. But now we have a good kind of picture of what the difficulties are. So high streets don't need commerce. They need experiences, flexible spaces, and meeting points. Instead of converting our shop, the shop that we bought, into our studio, we see it as an opportunity to create a community hub. And sometimes this means we have three clear areas of co-working space, workshop space, and yard space. And other times the division is less clear, so new forms are created. We have co-working space and yards, workshop space and co-working, yards, and streetscape. But the goal is one, to create a place where there is a social heritage, where people want to meet, where one has a good coffee and a good conversation. Our needs to gather as a community and socialize is actually ancient. The origins of gathering space comes from the ancient Greek agora, which served as the artistic, athletic, spiritual, and political center for people from ancient, from the center of every city of ancient Greece. And it was a bustling open space where people met to do business, philosophize, and also, of course, gossip. So this is Norwood High Street, and we imagine a streetscape that is less car-centric with hard landscaping and more ecology-centric, designed for people to walk, cycle, explore, and play. And we have developed a sustainable strategy within the studio that you can see here with the different topics that we are exploring. We imagine a colorful high street. What if we could accommodate the farmers market's feast on Norwood High Street and design our own kind of unique manhole covers, and thus bringing identity and placemaking into our streets. A place that is fun and is safe at night, where bats and different insects can nest. Events could take over the ground floor units of the whole stretch of the high street during the night. A street with a public realm that is actually inviting, where people want to sit down and have a chat, stop and drink, that is good lighting, and the residents are all connected. So let's reimagine now the interiors. Architects in ancient Greece used simple materials like wood, marble, limestone, brick. Their homes were super simple, but their temples and civic buildings were a little bit more extravagant, and they were all designed by artists. So their art was powerful, dynamic, ageless, and it was presented in a build form, so everyone actually could see it and admire it. Sorry. I've lost my thought. So we want to rethink not just kind of the use of the space, but also its materiality. So that's why in our co-working space, we'll have a materials lab where we will explore and develop different sustainable materials. And this will be addressing food waste in West Norwood, and we will integrate them into our own kind of designs and projects. Brick made out of avocado seeds from restaurants nearby, tiles made out of coffee waste. We do drink a lot of coffee in the studio, so that's good. A space of innovation and experimentation, but also a flexible space where we can host different artists, this is a list of artists that actually live and work within the West Norwood community. There are quite a lot of them. And the office can turn into an art gallery, a debating chamber, a party venue, and everything in between. So looking at the origins of the Agora and our need to meet and converse, we just want to create a space that can function on many different levels and serving many different needs. So similarly to the Agora, which is an open space, an empty space that people can accommodate, we imagine the workshop as an empty area where, apart from one long table and one long bench, where all these kind of different functions can happen at the same time in the same area. And during the day, we can host meetings, lunches, and presentations, whilst during the night, we can have the CPD talks, community meetings, suppers, supper clubs, and zine nights. And as you can see here, moody teenagers are only welcome during the weekends. Our connection to nature was fully understood by the Greeks. In their need to worship everything they saw and felt around them, they made gods of the seasons, the crops, fresh water, mountains, and flowers. For them, nature was the first creative power, tightly connected to art, and they worship nature. So in our community area, we want to organize workshops to learn more about sustainable ways of living. We will learn about permaculture and its sustainable agriculture, its landscape design and its ecology. We will transfer these knowledge, all of this knowledge, into the built environment and into our own design practices. The gathering in the Agora was a social affair, and it helped artisans thrive. So all of the merchants would gather together underneath the colonnades. So artisans would move their workshops, they will build their new workshops nearby the Agora to be around them. And thus the economy flourished. And all that to say that the closer, like the more people we can bring in to work and participate into this project, the better for the community. The urban yards will be transformed into kind of this space of community that we can host events, movie nights, and talks around the fire. The yard will be built and decorated throughout the years to come, using all these kind of different creations and materials that we will do within the studio. So it's going to be a work in progress. But most of all, we just want to have fun and enjoy some music. West Norwood is full of musicians, and we want to create a space where they can be heard, where we can listen, a place to celebrate, or even just a place to go, after a long day at work. And since we're all stuck in our houses right now, nothing sounds better than a yard full of friends, drinks, and a potential barbecue. Thank you.